Welcome to the Hadera-Iron Partnership Together podcast. Our partnership connects communities from the Hadera-Iron region in Israel with 9 Jewish communities across the southeastern United States and the Czech Republic, planting seeds of connection that grow into lasting, meaningful relationships. This episode is produced within the L2G Local2Global program, with guests sharing personal stories and experiences, celebrating our differences while exploring the unifying foundations that build family-like bonds.
Hi, my name is Michal from Harish, Israel.
And I'm Ken from Greensboro, North Carolina, USA. Welcome to the Partnership Together Hadera-Iron podcast. Thank you for joining us today as we share our journey, how we went from strangers to friends, a Jewish connection across oceans. We hope it will inspire you to not only learn more about our adventure, but also how you too can have an experience like ours. Michal, would you mind telling our listeners about the Jewish Agency for Israel's Partnership Together program, which sponsors the Local2Global program known as L2G?
Yes, very broadly. L2G is a program that connects Jewish adults from Israel with Jews from other countries, focusing on joint learning about topics related to community, Jewry, Jewish peoplehood, and Jewish values. The main target is creating long-lasting one-on-one relationships and friendships between participants.
So I guess the question is, what inspired you to participate in L2G?
Well, first of all, curiosity. I saw Ravid's message via WhatsApp, and it caught my eye. Then I contacted her very quickly, and we talked. And then it's roll again forward very fast. Ken, what about you?
Well, I saw an announcement about L2G in our local Jewish Federation publication. I've been to Israel twice, and most recently in March of 2023. The last trip was sponsored by the temple, our temple, and gave me a much more in-depth look at the issues facing Israel. It gave me a much greater feeling of being connected to Israel, so I thought the L2G program sounded really interesting. An opportunity to get to meet someone in Israel and learn even more about the customs, the country, traditions, and day-to-day life, as well as an opportunity to share the same about the United States with someone in Israel. And I can really say I've learned so much more than I really ever expected to. So now that we set the stage about the program and what caught our interest, let's talk about us, who we are. In a few words, Michal, what can you tell our listeners about who you are? What hobbies and interests do you have?
I'm a mother. I'm a mother of 3 adults, great children. Of course, I'm not objective. I'm writing. I'm a poet. I'm working full-time job. I like to read. I like music, movies, and really like people, and also travels. And what about you, Ken? Tell us about you.
Okay. Well, after a lengthy career in human resources working for an international corporation, I retired 4.5 years ago in the fall of 2020. It was actually in the middle of the pandemic. During my career, our family moved quite a bit for corporate moves. And in fact, we lived in France for almost 3 years. And that really gave our family the taste for international travel and experiencing different countries, different environments, different cultures. I'm someone who is not really into routines. I don't like things to be the same day after day, month after month. So the moves really gave me a lot of energy and fueled my career and my desire to learn more and travel more. And since retiring, I do a lot of volunteering. My wife and I have been fortunate to be able to continue traveling both within the U.S. and internationally. We have 2 daughters, one daughter who lives in Washington, D.C., and another, our youngest daughter, who actually lives in Amsterdam. She kind of caught the bug, I guess you would say, from our international experience, and now she and her husband live overseas. And I have to say that as much as I enjoyed my business career, it's nice to be away from that corporate environment, and I have to say it's even greater to be retired, which is one of the reasons why I'm enjoying L2G so very much. And I think, Michal, one of the things that interested me about L2G is the opportunity to get that deeper understanding of Israeli life. And you have shared so much with me about your personal life, what life is like for you and Harish, as well as how you celebrate Judaism and Jewish life there. And I have to thank you for that because I've learned so much in an extremely short period of time. So I'm wondering, how would you describe where you live and Jewish life there? And how do you embrace your Judaism?
I'm living in a kind of maybe strange, special place where you can hear the muezzin on the hill in front of the place. You can hear the songs of Shabbat from the Haredim on Friday evening. There is an urban Jewish or urban kibbutz, sorry, of the kind of Shomer Tzair, and they have a building. They rent a building and doing a lot in the community. And they are very, very religious people. There are mild. There are other religious people. There are other people that are not non-religious. I mean, all sort of people from all over Israel, also Arabs. So it's very, very heterogenic. And there are many, many synagogues. And as well, I learned a lot from you about your community and your Jewish habits and your family, which is really amazing in such a short time. So now, can you please tell us about where you're living?
Well, it's interesting because, as I'm sure you know, and our listeners will know, Jews are a very small percentage, percentage of the U.S. population, and even a smaller percentage in the south or eastern part of the country. When we first moved to Greensboro, we were really quite surprised by all the Jewish community offers here. I mean, we were really very fortunate in that way to have wound up here at the end of my career. So there's many opportunities for us to celebrate our Judaism. As you know, we've talked about some of these. There's opportunities for religious services, other events, which include guest speakers from around the world. It's really amazing to me, the people who come to Greensboro to speak to the Jewish community. And we have very strong educational programs for both young people and adults. We even have a bar and bat mitzvah, b'nai mitzvah class for adults who never had a bar or bat mitzvah as teenagers. There's plenty of opportunities to volunteer in the Jewish community. We have a very active Jewish federation, as well as a Jewish Family Services organization. And just as a real quick aside, when we talk about Israel, one of the highlights for me in my last trip was being able to buy 2 Kiddush cups for our 2 grandchildren who live in Washington, D.C. They're 7 and 3 years old right now. And when we go to visit for Shabbat, which we do a number of times a year, the grandchildren get to use the Kiddush cups. And that's really quite a special moment for me because I then bring my Kiddush cup that I bought in Israel in 1994. And so that's very special moments. And I think I even may have sent you a photograph of the 3 of us from one of our trips to Washington on Shabbat. So when we talk about Judaism and the Jewish community, but what about our personal lives? What about your personal life today, Michal, and what things you like to do and what you would like to do in the future?
So, talking about personal life and poetry, I'd like to share one poem in English with you, which is rare in English. It's called It's Only One Glaze. It's only one glaze, you said, when we sat at the restaurant near the beach. One glaze in a hot summer day is not good enough, hey. Too hot, so we moved to another table. We drank cold underground beer in midday. You were staring at me without saying a word, staring at my deep blue lakes, making me blush, wonder, and laugh. Was written in 2010.
I really admire your creativity because you share your poems with me both in Hebrew, sometimes in English, and then I can do the translator for the for the Hebrew to be able to read it in English. May not be exactly word for word, but that it works. And I know you've published as well.
Well, yes, I published 2 poetry books, and there are 8 of my poems in an anthology that I didn't at it. Well, someone made it and was very proud to be a part of it. A group of readers in English that I participate in their evening reading evenings. So it was a great experience and a lot of joy. And now I'm working on my third book and hope to get all my strengths to finish it before my next birthday in December.
Well, that's a good goal, isn't it? And you, as we've talked about, you're the creative side. We've had these conversations between the two of us. You're the creative side. I'm more of the it's the business piece of me, right? Too many years in the business environment, so I'm pretty much, we've got the right brain, left brain kind of going on here from that perspective. And I like to spend, my time doing things that are I don't know, more active, more physically active, more action oriented for me. I don't have that cerebral part. So that I like to go and exercise and work out and walk, and I like to volunteer, and I like to be involved in activities, whether it's at a food pantry, or if it's sometimes on various committees and boards that I've been asked to join as I've gotten more into retirement and trying to give back in my time, which is very different because I'm retired and you are busy with your work. And we always have fun trying to figure out times when we can meet, right? With the 7-hour time difference and the and also your work schedule as well.
And I would say that what I admire in you is that you're a method and you have your own way of thinking and the order, and you can I mean, say what you want and very, very right words, correct words. I said I would get a headache from thinking about all the things that you're going to volunteer. I mean, at least 5 organizations, and also now the protest that you take part of it with your wife and your grandchildren. So you're doing so much. I think you need a secretary. even that even that you're retired. I mean, when we try to schedule, I realize that you're so busy and doing so much, but you're so modest. You don't say I do. That's what I love. So I was thinking about, okay, Judaism, knowing people across the ocean. This evening, I came back after a long day, and I said, "Wow, it's good that I joined this program." And then I'm thinking about the first time we contact via WhatsApp. We try to contact each other, and I cannot really think anymore that we are strangers, because I gained a great friend, like a member of family. I can talk with Ken about almost anything, and enjoy his wisdom and his wide vision. And also he's very methodic, and it's really a different way of thinking than me, that I'm kind of also an artist and writing and floating, and we're totally different. I mean, what's the connection between an HR specialist that went all over the world and worked all over the world with such a long time experience, and me, that I'm totally different?
What I've really learned and what I've appreciated and enjoyed in the program is the fact that we didn't put any barriers up from the first Zoom meeting we had. I acted like we were already friends, and I think you did the same thing. And my thinking was, well, if this doesn't work out, okay, no big deal. But what we've really gained is the opportunity through some of the structured sessions of the program is sharing more about our values, who we are, why and what is important to us about Judaism, how we share, how we celebrate that, how we share that with our family and friends. I mean, I really appreciate and enjoy when Michal sends me photographs of a Shabbat evening out with friends, and food and music and singing and videos. It is so different to some extent of how we celebrate here in the United States. We might go to services, and then we'll have a late dinner or maybe an early dinner. We'll be at services for a couple of hours and we'll be with the community. But it's not that, for lack of other words, it's like this difference in the joie de vivre. I don't know how else to say it, but the enthusiasm and the excitement, which I remember experiencing when I traveled there. And it's great to have that refreshed experience and learning. And some of the things that we've been able to share and learn about. I mean, one time I'm recalling we had a Zoom meeting scheduled, Michal, and you may remember this. And we were supposed to meet at 2000 your time, or shortly around that time. And then all of a sudden, it was the evening of the memorial for the fallen. And you called and you texted me and you said, we have to wait because the sirens will be going off in just a few minutes. And it was such a solemn reminder to me. And we had gone, my wife and I had gone to services for that memorial, for example. But to experience it at that level was really quite phenomenal. It was such a reminder of what the issues are in Israel compared to the United States. So it's been that learning and understanding. And there's been times when Michal has said to me, the fighter jets are flying overhead. Just a minute, please, because the volume, the noise. And there's the joy, like I talked about. There's the celebrations. There's the photos, the sharing of Michal's birth of her grandson in January. And these are all things we've been able to share, basically because we haven't put up barriers. We just said, okay, let's see where this goes. And my wife even joined us one time briefly in one of our Zoom meetings, if you remember, right? Yeah, Patty. Yeah. Just to say, hey, say hello, right? This is who I'm speaking with in Israel, right? And it gave you some familiarity as well. And you might even want to mention with the birth of your child, my wife sent your grandchild rather. My wife sent you a gift.
Yeah, this was really overwhelming. I mean, first, what you talk about the siren and like like for us, as I came here today to the Ulpan, drove here, I saw all the photos of the remaining hostages in Gaza, and it's like living inside the news somehow, and it's not so easy. It's really really challenging. And Memorial Eve is a very very strong and very very difficult eve for all of us in Israel, and also the day after is very very difficult and challenging and aching because we know so many people, and especially after the 7th October. And I can you reminder on the opposite, a very special, overwhelming moment that you told me that you and Patty decided to send a small gift to Arbel, my grandchild that was born in January. And then when I opened it, it was wow. I was really overwhelming because Patty was quilting, you sent a blanket with quilt that Patty made especially for Arbel, with also she wrote on the back. So it was really, really very moving and very appreciated, of course, and was a great surprise.
Well, the funny thing is, for a while there, we thought it was lost in the mail. Remember? See, I think it took like 8 weeks to get there, and
Yeah, it takes a long
yeah.
time.
But it was
Yes.
just, and I mentioned that simply because it's the kind of person my wife is, but it's also it created a connection. And then Michal, when she gave it to her daughter and for her grandchild, sent photos of her grandson, on the quilt. And it's just that kind of neat thing that we've been able to establish that, without the program, without L2G, without the partnership, we wouldn't be able to do that.
The feeling and the thought that someone somewhere over the ocean is thinking about us in this very tough moments is really a relief. I mean, it's really appreciated, and it's also something we gain from this partnership program?
Not to bring up a very sad day in Israeli history and for all of us, but to talk about October 7th. And you and I have shared how we felt on that day and what our reaction was to that day. I know for me, having just been in Israel 6 months before that, that particular day, I had not listened to the news. It was a Saturday. And I went into another room in the house and I turned on the television. And I was just, in total shock. I was just so overcome in so many ways that I can't even begin to explain. And of course, the two of us hugged as well and watched the news incessantly, obviously. And Monday night, the 9th, which was actually my birthday, there was a solidarity with Israel service held at our temple for the entire Jewish community. And it was literally standing room only to pray for Israel, to pray for the hostages. You also wrote a poem.
Yeah, this was a very tough day. I mean, we woke in the morning, there was the alarms, the sirens, and my daughter called me, and we just opened TV and just were attached to the TV all day long. And from moment to moment, it appears that we cannot even understand what the hell is going on. And then we heard the phone calls of the people in the kibbutzim calling to the TV broadcasters, and also the videos that Hamas took in kibbutz Nachalos that when they're shooting. And I think one of the most shocking moments was to see Shiri Bibas with her 2 children, taking them and trying to protect them with nothing, with like very light blanket. And we didn't know what to think anymore. And as the moments went on, we just understood this is a Holocaust. We cannot really understand what's going on. TV was broadcasting and revealing each hour more and more. So it was really, I think since then I cannot skip TV news every day. I mean, it's a problem, but that's what's going on. And then you mentioned this poem. It's about the dissonance. It's called עכשיו אישה אחת. עכשיו אישה אחת לובשת סקיני, סוף סוף אחרי חודשיים, היא יכולה והיא חוגגת. יש חטופים ויש נרצחים, ויש חיילים לוחמים בעזה ובצפון, חיילים נהרגים. 136 חטופים במנהרות חשוכות בעזה. הלב כואב, הלב צורב, אי אפשר בכלל לתפוס, אי אפשר להבין. היא נשברת בערבים מול מהדורות החדשות, היא חרדה לחיילים, היא דואגת, מה יהיה עם החטופים, מה יהיה כאן? המוני מפונים, אלוהים אדירים. היא מתחברת בבקרים כשהשמש עולה ומחממת לעתים. ואישה אחת סוף סוף הולכת חופשייה, נוסעת עם תיק ומזוודה לעיר רחוקה לבדה בעצמה. פעם ראשונה מזה זמן רב, והיא הולכת כמו גדולה והיא חופשייה, ובליבה תפילה, היא יודעת שמעכשיו היא תוכל לעוף על החיים. איזה שמחה, איזה ניצחון, זה הניצחון שלה. It was written at 18th January 24.
For me, our conversations, Michal, about October 7th and everything that happened, even though it was a year, we didn't start talking until a year after, it gave me an opportunity to talk to someone in Israel about it, right? I mean, I talked to friends here and the rabbi and congregation members and so on and so forth. It's not the same experience. So for me, it was an opportunity to listen to you of what you went through and to hear your poetry about it and to also express my feelings. One of the things that occurred here in Greensboro was shortly after October 7th, sometime in the beginning of November, one of the survivors of the Nova Festival came to Greensboro. She came to North Carolina and spoke at several different colleges, and we were fortunate enough to have her come talk to the Jewish community again using our temple facility. And again, it was standing room only, and had a chance to talk to her briefly after. And, that was an amazing experience. And that was such an emotional evening. But even talking with you a year later, 18 months later, it still evokes so many emotions.
So for me, it also was kind of like trauma healing in a way, because we shared our thoughts and I shared my experience here, and I there were really difficult moments because Israel is okay. It's like a small village. Everybody knows everyone because you served in the army with this and that, and your children went to the youth movement. Like my daughter went to Maccabi, and she knows so many people, and then the high school. And very sadly, also in Hadera and the area, many young, beautiful people were killed or murdered in the Nova Festival or in 7th October. And you get to worry because you hear what's going on. And my son-in-law was also in the army during the war, and hosting my daughter. And as a mother, you always worry to your children. I mean, take care of your children and thinking about them. So the problem is that we're in the news. I mean, each Saturday there is a videotape of the hostages, which is really terrible. You cannot really understand it. And then if we schedule to talk via Zoom, then I tell him, "Oh, Ken, watch the news," and it's really affects us. And we wish that our children, we have really boring days without this news, without this terror attacks, which really 7th October was different, totally in so many ways. And now we need to recover after the hostages will come back, hopefully. We prayed and also do everything here to make it happen. So it's a very a big contradiction between us, but knowing that there are people, Jewish people, good people, amazing people that are really thinking about us and also taking care and wish us well-being. I mean, wish us good life, and boring news. It's a kind of a relief. I mean, I don't know how to express it in other words. It's really moving.
Well, it's when you shared with me about your having two of your three children in the IDF, and just a little bit about what that experience is, and your experience as a mother of having two grown children, in service in Israel. And the things you've been able to share with me have allowed me to share with people here in the US, to try to create that same understanding that you've given me, that same level of understanding. It puts it in a different perspective for me, because I do listen to daily podcasts from Israel on the news and things that are happening. And so when I hear what's going on, or you send me a video, it's different than what I'm hearing here as well. And this is the thing about our friendship and the partnership, because it really goes beyond the headlines. Right? It goes to the heart of the matter. It goes to the family issues, the personal issues, the issues that are really important in the long run, and the details, the closer to the heart experiences than headlines can really ever get to.
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned it, because the big difference is the view, the perspective, and the different points of view. Everybody's reading the news, watching the news, reading the news. We have it so many ways with all the media, so social media. So it's really different. Like you're talking about your grandchildren and your experiences in Washington D.C. and your visit. It's very personal. It's not just someone in the news that is going to a museum there or doing this and that there. So it's very different.
Yeah, it goes beyond the tourism. It's similar, and not to get too deeply into politics here today, but we do share some things related to that. And I've been much more politically active in my retirement than I was during my working years because I have more time to do that. So we're even able to share our opinions on that. And how we feel about it and what's really going on in the country. Again, it lends to what we see on the news, but it brings it down to a more personal, being able to share photographs and videos and thoughts, and those kinds of things, which again really would not have happened without L2G. And you and I have spoken about what we really appreciate in the program, and we've also spoken about, we're supporters of the program. I walk around, Greensboro and talking to my, Jewish friends here about it. They're like, "What are you involved in? What are you working on a podcast? What's going on there? You're talking about Israel, so on and so forth." And really want to see this program grow in any way that we could ever support it. We both feel very, very strongly about that because we've had those conversations. And I really feel that the more people who knew about the program, the more people, if they knew more about the program, and hopefully they're going to listen to this podcast and see that you and I have been able to develop a good friendship within that framework because of that framework that was given to us, right? We're so fortunate. And that if they knew and understood more about what the program is about, more people would be jumping on the wagon, as we say in the U.S., to be involved and to explore more about it and to potentially participate as well. And, when I think about it, we really are, I feel like we've been really very lucky. We've created a friendship from a distance. I don't know how many people can say that. It's been something that we can really attribute to the program that has really been responsible for helping us, build this friendship. And I know both of us certainly want to thank the staff at Partnership Together. They've been wonderful for sharing this opportunity and guiding us. And it's certainly one I wouldn't have missed. And you and I have talked about one word that would describe the program. And for me, it would be phenomenal.
Overwhelming. I think I agree with you that we are very lucky to participate and find each other and made a great connection over the ocean. And I said that I will take you to eat a proper hummus and go to Caesarea to see this beautiful place and others.
It is beautiful. I've been there.
And also I have a small dream to maybe to visit someday and to meet your family there in the States. Who knows?
Well, you are welcome at any time. That's for sure.
Thank you.
And on that note, both Michal and I would like to thank our local Jewish federations. And it's important to know that the Partnership Together, or P2G, is an initiative of the Jewish Agency for Israel. And it's made possible by the generous gifts to your local Jewish federation. To learn more about P2G, reach out to your local federation.
Okay, so we really would like to thank all of you to been listening to our podcast. It's very meaningful and very important to us. And thank you for this gift that we got.
And as we say in the southern part of the United States, shalom, y'all.